Hi there everyone, it's the guy from the Gamertag here, and today I need to take a look at and give a review of Insomniac Games' Spiderman, the game that finally allows you to get behind the mask of Peter Parker and fight off some of his most notorious villains. And all of this taking place in the Marvel Universe's representation of New York. The first and probably main thing for this game that really does nail it is the movement. The movement is absolutely fantastic. The game starts out by giving you a tutorial, making sure you know how to use your webs, actually use your web shooters, and it gives you the bedrock of how you're going to move around this world. And it really is fun. You can start comboing moves as you start unlocking more skills as you get further through the game. You can then start to actually move around this world faster and faster. And it becomes a little mini game in itself, seeing how fast can you get from one side of New York to the other. And it really does make it satisfying. The movement is both rewarding, fun, and not punishing, and that's what makes it enjoyable. You don't get punished for making a mistake, you just get to have fun as you travel around the map. And what's more, I only ever used the fast travel once. There is fast travel in this game, but I only ever used it in the one time that the game actually makes you use it to show you that it's a feature. And what's more, as you move around this world, there's so many different tasks you can do, whether it's fighting off street level crime, collecting backpacks that give you an idea of Peter's adventures before and during his time as Spider-Man, completing research stations that allow you to help make this version of New York better, or fighting off large bases of criminals and making sure that they can't spread their influence around New York. There is a lot of tasks you can do, and it makes it that much more fun. And what's more, by completing all of these different tasks, you get more tokens which allow you to unlock better suit powers and better suit gadgets, and it helps you make yourself more powerful as Spider-Man. And what's more, for each gadget you've then also got different upgrades for them, so you've got a lot more different ways to use them, and there's a lot more variety in the combat. And as you get further and further through the game, you can find gradually more and more creative ways of using these gadgets to take out enemies. This all comes together to make it a really fun experience to travel around the world and also get involved in the combat of the game, because the combat is really another area where this game completely excels in my opinion. Whilst the early part of the game is just to introduce you to how the buttons work and what all the different moves are, as you get further through the game, the larger fights is where this game really shines. When you're up against more than 20 enemies and it's just you, it feels really satisfying because you've got to dodge all the enemies and all their various different attacks, but you've also got to reposition at times and use your abilities to your own advantage, and that's what makes this game really fun. When you're just completely outnumbered but you manage to fight your way through it, that is where it's fun. And what's more, as you're going through it, you get the odd quips from Peter, and they are perfectly nerdy. I do really love the dialogue in this game.
I bet the Avengers never have bird poop missions.
And as you're going through this, it helps build up to the main story, and the main story in itself was fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed this story. It has all the things that I really want from it. It makes you laugh, it makes you cry, it had some really touching moments which really did make you feel for some of the characters, and it also had really good action sequences. For me, it was a very well put together story, and it was a really great experience. There have been some extra story DLCs which I haven't played, and in my personal opinion, you don't need to play them to get the full experience of this game. The main game itself has a great story, and you will be very satisfied playing it. Now, no game is without its flaws or its glitches, but fortunately for this one, the glitches in the game have been absolutely glorious, especially when you, as Mary Jane, get to activate super secret stealth mode.
Take him out.
I feel like for this one we might need to wait for Avengers Endgame before it gets explained. But if I had to list one thing that I didn't particularly like about the game, it was actually more to do with the suit abilities. Some of the abilities had a tendency to make fights too easy, and it actually would take some of the enjoyment away from the fight. I definitely found myself handicapping myself further through the game, just so it made the big fights more enjoyable. I feel like the difficulty should have scaled a bit more as you got further through the game. But overall, this game has been fantastic. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and if I had to rate it, I would definitely give it a solid 8 out of 10. If you have any questions about the game, please feel free to leave those in the comments down below. I've been the guy from the Gamertag, and I'll see you on another video.